Well, according to the customer, this one let the smoke out right there. And a couple notes on here. Even right channel distorts if unit is agitated. So do not get this thing agitated. Both left channels A and B put out distortion. So this is a Sony from I think about the 90-ish, early 90s maybe, STR-AV310. It's kind of a little slimline unit. I remember when these things were brand new. We had problems with the microprocessor that lives up here where the display is. And this one does not have a hard power switch. It only has a soft power switch. And I remember they would lock up. And I think I figured out that, actually I think it was on the hard power switch models, the lower end units. And I think I figured out that if you pulled the system power line down like it actually had a switch, it would power up. And as you may or may not know, most Sony machines, TVs, stereos, remember the state they were in when power was removed. It like writes the data into an EEPROM, and then when you reapply power to it, it comes back in the exact same state. And if that gets glitched, that could be a problem. Here's the back of the unit. It's got the Sony Control S on it. Switched AC, wow. You don't see that much ever anymore. Not many inputs and outputs. Phono, CD, tape, video. Probably a pretty nice receiver. Had they not gone with, you can see it right there, an STK power module on that little circuit board. Come on, people, just make discrete parts. I haven't powered it up yet. I want to go ahead and pop the top off of it and take a look inside, a visual inspection first, and see if I can see what may or may not have let the magic smoke out. Let's pop the top on this thing real quick. And we'll try to do it in somewhat real time. Gotta get my egg carton available. As some of you may have noticed, I'm doing some work on my house. So the videos have been a little few and far between, and I have a guest living with me, a cat. Screws in the back. Oh, doggone it, yes. There are screws in the back. Nope, they're not, actually. My bad. They just felt like there were screws in the back. And we'll just move that along. And then hopefully this will maybe let go. There we go. Okay, so there's the insides of the unit. And let's zoom down in here. Maybe it will remain in the auto magical focus mode. The only thing I see that might be running warm is that large 2-watt, I think it's a 2-watt resistor right there next to that regulator. And that's where the customer said that the magic smoke was released from. I don't see anything else in this neighborhood. There is the STK power pack, and I doubt you'll be able to see. There it is, STK 4162 Series 2. A bunch of those little blue capacitors on there that do fail periodically. I don't see any issues with the soldering on the STK chip. They use blue heatsink compound. Zoom back out just a tad. Unit looks pretty good other than that. I think I bought one of these for my late mother when they were new. Wonder where that went. Actually, you know what? I bought a JVC. That's what it was. I remember that. At a store in Southern California. There's the fairly beefy power transformer. I mean, not that beefy. I have tiny hands and it's even tinier. 3 amp AC fuse looks like over here. Well, I guess we're probably at the point where we need to apply power to this thing and see what it wants to do. See if we can get it agitated to get distortion out of it. So let me go ahead and unzip the cord. Okay, plugged in. And let's go ahead and try to get it centered up so that if the magic smoke does become released, you might have a chance of seeing it. Okay, here we go. AC power on. Ooh, oh no, that's voltage, never mind. It's not drawing too much power, about 40 watts. And I never get a relay click, speaker relay click. That means it probably has some kind of a DC offset. I can turn it off with the power button on the front. I do hear the main power relay click back here in the corner, but I'm waiting for the speaker relay click. So I need to go ahead and find a schematic on this and see if we can measure some DC voltages easily accessible. I could get it down here where the filter network is and see if I've got DC offset, but I'd rather measure it at the STK chip itself. So let me try to find a schematic and we'll move forward from there. One moment. One thing I did notice is the P is flashing. I believe that means it's in the protection mode. See if I can get it to focus on that. Well, you may have to trust me. It is a P. Let's power the unit back off. Power the unit on. It should come up normally. And then if it detects an issue, the P... Oh, the speaker relay closed that time. Okay. Well, I may have agitated the unit then. This was going to be my first suspect, is that we have a bad STK chip with intermittent internal connections, but that may not be the case. Yeah, it actually powered up successfully. So let me move my microphone here. Sorry about that, I bumped it. So here's power on. And we got a speaker relay click. So it is currently working. Huh, doggone it. Why can't something just go easy? Well, let's connect speakers to it. So this will be the right channel. Should redo my speaker leads someday. Get the cat here out of there. Okay, let's zoom out. And volume down to minimum, power on. And we're in tuner. How do we actually tune? I'll probably have to put something into the FM antenna input. Let's go to a local channel that we have here, 95.1. And it wants to auto search at the moment. Let me get an antenna, one moment. Okay, antenna via paperclip and a wire has been attached back here. So let's... So I have audio on the right channel. Okay, I've got audio on both channels. Let's get the bass and treble back at 0. So I had intermittent audio on the left channel. And I need to solder the, or clean the contacts in the relay. You can hear it cutting out right there. Pretty common problem with these things. As I wiggle it, you can hear it maybe cutting in and out. Right channel. Same thing. Yeah. Okay, well, we need to address that, but why did it have a DC offset? I need to get to the bottom of this board and take a look at the solder connections. I thought maybe this regulator had a bad connection to it, which would make sense. Still cutting out really bad. Hopefully the cover comes off this relay. That's interesting. It won't act up now. What if I twist it? and the audio is just cutting in and out. Well, I'm wondering if the bottom comes off of this unit, or if it's like one of the newer units where I have to actually pull the board out. And oh yes, it has a cover that comes off. That is excellent. Perfect. Can actually get to it. Okay, let's get a zoom in here. I see some hot parts. Well, that solder connection on that big resistor right there looks absolutely terrible. Oops, too much. Unenhance, unenhance. Yeah, that thing looks bad. Let's get a macro zoom. One moment. Okay, well, that looks pretty bad, at least from this angle, but let's see if it'll track. Oh, yeah, look at that. I'm surprised it's working at all. Yeah, that looks absolutely horrible. Well, it's just going to take some extra solder to reinforce those connections, and possibly a little bit of scrubbing / flux. I'm not sure. So, power has been removed, and one moment while I warm up the soldering iron. Okay, power has been removed. Let's go ahead and add some solder and see if I can get it to take to the leads, which is always the hard part on these things. Sometimes you got to flood them. Well, that certainly took quite easily. Now I am trying some 6337 solder because I ran out of my regular 6040. And we'll see how it cooperates. Looking good so far. You're definitely liking it. Bigger the glob, the better the job. Yes, buddy. Yeah, working good. What about these other resistors? Should we go ahead and just touch them up since we're here? Why not? It's like just because the mechanic is working on your car, he's changing the timing belt, why not do the water pump at the same time? Because it's only a few extra minutes to replace it, and you're right freaking there inside the engine, so why not? Okay, I like that. Let's go ahead and hit this regulator. Anything on a large heat sink that heats up and cools down is definitely a suspect for intermittent connections. Okay, I like that. Like I said, the bigger the glob, the better the job. Well, let's go ahead and pop out the speaker relay, which lives, I've got my finger guiding me right there. So those are the speaker contacts, and then way down here where somebody hand wrote D603, those are the coil contacts. And there's the counter EMF diode right there, and it is D603. So I'll get my solder sucker warmed up, we'll get this relay out of here and clean the contacts in it, and hopefully that resolves all of the customer issues. Well, judging by the sound that it fell, I'd say it is out of there. Let's zoom out. And we'll flip this guy up. set it out of the way, and there is the speaker relay, speaker contact, I should say. Yeah, and it looks like it does pop open. Let's get a small prying apparatus, and I'll zoom in on that, so hopefully the white balance will be a little bit better. Actually, I should pump up the exposure. Let's see, one moment. Bear with me. Exposure. Manuel. Alright, that looks okay. So I gave it an extra 1 stop. Wow, look at that. They actually intended this thing to be serviced. So I just got to remember which way it goes back together, where it says type DH2SU. That goes above the contacts. And so there it is. That's all she wrote. So contacts just close together like that. And whoops, my bad. Maybe I should just apply 24 volts to it. So all I'm going to do is lay a piece of paper in between those contacts, pull in the relay, and then slide the paper back and forth. And what that's going to do is polish the contacts. So let me get my power supply turned on here, and we'll get her cranked up to 24 volts. Nope, that's current. Ding dong, I need voltage. All right, there's 23.5, and it definitely does indicate 24 volts DC. Get my leads down here, hopefully without dropping anything. We'll get one lead attached and the other lead attached, and it did pull in. So there is the action of the relay. So let me cut a little piece of paper, and we'll get it ready to slide in between those contacts. And then I'll probably try to stand it up, attach the leads, and we'll slide it through. One moment. Okay, I've cut a thin strip of just regular printer paper right here. Nothing special, so I'm going to stand this guy up, and hopefully it'll stay up. And then, okay, power supply is connected. I'm going to shut the power supply off. And there it did release. So I'm just going to lay the paper right there. Power supply on. And we'll just pull it through over and over. Hopefully you can see that. Sorry if it was almost off camera. I think I'll hit it with some Deoxit D5. When it folds over, it means you're done. So I'm just going to pull it through now, and then we'll get to the dry portion, which is right there. So this should dry up all the excess deoxit. And I'm going to shut the power supply back off. There it goes. It opened up. And I don't know if you can see it or not, but those contacts should be shiny on the face. And yes, they are very shiny on the face. Now, if I wanted to, I'll put that back in. Reapply power. Sorry if it was off. And we can give it just a little extra oomph. just giving it a little extra tension right there. Turn it back off. Pull it out. And let's see if I can enable macro zoom. One moment. Okay, macro zoom has been enabled. And we'll take a look at the contacts in there. And we have to pump up the exposure. You can definitely see on that side how clean it is, minus the cat hair. Okay, cat hair should be removed at that point. Yeah, I can see they're nice and clean. Okay, let's sew this thing back together and give it a try. Autofocus hunting. One moment. There we go, trying to get focus on it for you guys. I lost my solder. There's my solder. Brand new roll. Of course, the tape came off. 6337, and it's 0.8 millimeter. I think it's like 31 thousandths, I think. Maybe. I'm not sure. So let's go and just apply a little bit of solder to that one pin right there. And then if I can reach in, I'll push it down. Push it flush against the board, and then we can solder the rest of them. Okay, hopefully you can see that. The receiver is standing on its side at the moment, which is why there's such a weird view, but there we go, everything's soldered. You can actually see the connections for the regulator right there, and then the resistors that got soldered right up in here, which are now out of magical focus. There we go, it's in manual focus at the moment. Pretty happy with the results. Okay, let's zoom out, and I'll get the camera recentered on here. Here's the FM antenna just laying there, paper clip and all. Bottoms off. I thought it was bottoms up, but bottoms off. Okay, speakers are still connected. Power on. And it seemed to have forgotten where it was. Probably got a bad battery in the backup circuit. Do we have audio? I'm wondering. Yes, good, we have audio. Now let's get to a station that it comes in. No more cutting out. There's the right channel, and then there is the left channel. Hopefully I don't get a content match. And the audio is very low right now. Nope, sounds absolutely perfect. Okay, well, I guess what I'm going to do is set this thing off in the other room, connect it to another set of speakers, and just burn it in for probably 24 to 48 hours and just see if something pops up at this point. I'm hoping it was just that resistor. I wonder if I should ESR these capacitors that are living in the middle of the regulator. Could they be having problems? Yes, they certainly could, because this thing, I mean, it's not hot at the moment. It's only been on for like a minute, so it's probably only 105, 110 degrees at the moment. Yeah, let's remove power, and I'll find my ESR meter, which is, oh God, such a mess in here. Haven't been able to work in quite a while. Still have the keypad fixed, haven't even opened it, and I have the LEDs for the Samsung UN6502, 6002, 55 something rather. Yeah, let's go ahead and ESR those two caps that live right there, just because they've been subject to heat for some amount of time. What the heck is the, oh, it's in manual, sorry. Put it back in auto magical. Okay, so, get this scooted over, you guys can see it. Trying to do stuff in real time. So, spin my leads around to clean the contacts. It's been a month since I've even touched this stuff, so. Yep, 0.08, 0.09 is about where it normally lands. Could it be possibly it's just bad capacitors over here? Can you see that? Yeah, okay, good. So there is one capacitor right there, and it reads 1.4, 1.5 ohms, and this is the other capacitor. And 0.73, not that too terribly bad. So what are the values on these guys? This big one, which that big guy right there, that's a 100 at 16. One that's standing up right there. And then the little guy is a 33 at 16. I think the 100 is definitely toast. I would expect to see about a half an ohm or less on a 100 at 16, just for the fun of it. I'm going to go ahead and grab my drawer of 100s at 16. And what, can I get a better one than a Chong? Okay, here's a Kimmit. Manufactured July of 2021, 100 at 16. Let's just get the ESR meter out. Get it in view. So short the leads together, and we're seeing, really? 0, 0, and the capacitor measures 0.3. So yes, I'm just going to go ahead and pop a new capacitor in there, just because of the 1.5 ohms. And remember, that might be in parallel with other circuits somewhere. Because typically when you design a regulator circuit, you want to put the capacitors as close to the regulator as possible to prevent oscillation. So, get it back over where you can see what's going on. Solder sucker is still warmed up. Hopefully you can see what's happening over here. And power has been removed. And did that just... No, it didn't fall out. Why not change them both? We're here, right? Okay. So those guys have been unsoldered. There we can kind of see what's going on there. Needly nose pliers. There we go, and that is a 100 at 16 Rubicon. 85 Celsius. New Kimmit cap going in. .33 at 16. We'll test these out of circuit just to see what they have to say. Well, the closest I have is a 33 at 25, I believe. Yeah, 33 at 25. And it reads 1.4 ohms, so I'm happy with that on a 33. All right, those have been installed. And just for the fun of it, what is the ESR of the pads? Let's get this over where you can see it again. My bad. Open. And that's 2 ohms even without the capacitor installed. As you can see, I'm just wiggling it there. It's not making any difference. New capacitor 0.31, and then with the existing we got 0.83. So I'm okay with that. Let's solder those guys in. Soldering iron is still warmed up, has not gone to sleep yet, so that's a good thing. Okay, caps replaced, resistors resoldered, and we just need to go ahead and give this thing a test. And I think we're going to be just fine, if I had to guess. Should I resolder those STK contacts? They actually look very good. I'm going to let that pass. Less labor for the customer. Okay, here we go. Power on. Speaker relay did close. Forgot where it was, as usual. Tuning, tuning. And yes. Right channel, left channel. That looks good. Okay, I'm going to move this over to the other room and just let it burn in for probably 24 to 48 hours. And if there's any updates, I will let you know. Well, shoot, I thought I had this thing done. Change those caps, resolder those resistors, and then look at that. I've got the protection mode activated. So I think I may have found something out. So let's power this off, power it back on. I'm going to press down on the speaker relay, and we'll see if it comes on. Yes, it did. And we have sound. Let's hear that. Okay. Yeah, that's the problem. So, let's power this off. I was going to go ahead and tighten all the ground screws up. Check this one out right here. Can you see that? It's totally loose. So let's give that one a little bit of torque. There we go. Now it's on there. Let's try it one more time. Power on. I think that's what threw it into the protection mode. Got sound? Nothing. Remember, it got upset. What did the customer say if it was, if it became agitated? So yeah. So what happens if I just loosen this screw? Oh yeah, that's it. Okay, screw is tight. There's the problem. Did not go into shutdown. The other problem I've had on these units, and it's been an issue where that one silver screw right there, see how it's different than the gold-plated ones? That's an actual ground connection to the back panel. If those come loose, it can cause all kinds of issues, especially in the later versions where they didn't actually solder a ground wire to the board, which they should have done on this one. Obviously, they used that screw right there to convey the ground, so I just want to go ahead and make sure all the other screws are suitably tight. That one's not. That one is now. This one's got an insulator under it, so it won't do me any good to tighten that one at all. And yeah, I think that's it. So working fine right now. Let's go ahead and throw the bottom back on it. Make sure that doesn't touch anything. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with finding that, the ground screw. Hopefully I don't drop this while it's on. Okay, and where's my egg carton? There it is. So yeah, pretty happy finding that one bad ground screw. So let's go ahead and wrap this video up. I think we got a solid fix on our hands at this point. So let's get the top back on it, and I'll put it in the burn-in room and let it run. So you can follow me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at NorCal715. You can email me, norcal715videos@gmail.com. As of right now, if you want to contact me, just leave me a comment in one of the videos, please. Because I've got so much going on that with the house remodel and everything, that, yeah, back to not checking emails in a day and a half. Oh, shoot. So, yeah, I think I got a solid fix on this with that loose ground screw, soldering the connections on the speaker relay. And that would account for why the customer didn't have sound on one channel, was the speaker relay contacts. They probably don't crank it, but anyhow, I think she's going to be ecstatic. This thing is repaired. Remember, with your help, we can try to keep these things out of the landfill, out of the recycle bin, and out of the e-waste facility. Everyone, thank you once again for making it to the end of this video. I know it's a long one, but it's more of a real-time one. I really, really appreciate it. Everyone have a great day. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.